Here we wish to concentrate on the application of Densit to a steel surface where the bonding to the base is ensured by fastening a reinforcing net to the steel. We recommend a net of expanded metal. It must not be galvanized. Standard net has a mesh size of 30 millimeters and a thickness of 3 millimeters. Other types may also be used. The reinforcing net is welded to the base such that the Densit material can enclose it. The reinforcing net must be so placed that about 2/3 of the wear lining can be placed above the net. With a 40 millimeter thick wear lining, the distance from the net to the base will be about 10 millimeters. With a 30 millimeter thick lining, a distance of 5 to 6 millimeters is to be preferred. The distance between the net and the steel base can be maintained by welding round iron bars of the appropriate thickness to the base and the net. The distance between the iron bars themselves should be about 200 millimeters. If the distance is greater, the net may not be rigid enough, making it difficult to apply the Densit material. This is especially true of vertical surface and of upward facing surfaces. The Densit must be mixed in a paddle mixer to ensure an effective mix. The mixer must be cleaned thoroughly before beginning to work with Densit, as impurities from other materials can cause harmful reactions in the material. Water dosages are stated on the packaging. More water than is stated must not be used. Even the smallest quantity of water over and above the stated quantity can cause difficulties in application and, in extreme cases, reduce the wear resistance. Water is added to the dry powder in the mixer. It is advisable to start by adding only the quantity of water which is stated as the minimum. If more water then seems to be required to achieve the best consistency for the job in hand, extra water can be added up to the maximum permitted quantity. After about 10 minutes mixing, the exact time depends on the efficiency of the mixer, steel fibres are added. The normal dosage is 1.8 kilograms per 40 kilograms of Densit. Mixing is then continued for 3 to 4 minutes and the material is ready for use. Application should be started immediately. In working on steep, almost vertical surfaces, as here, the material should be applied on small areas at a time. It is important to press the material well into and behind the reinforcing net. It will usually be advantageous to work from the bottom up. It is important that the material be applied in the thickness desired in one operation, as the surface very quickly dries out. The finished surface is finally smoothed with a steel trowel, possibly moistened with a little water. Immediately a section is finished, the surface must be protected against drying out. How soon this is done depends on the temperature and humidity at the work site. The protection consists of spraying on a membrane seal, here a wax emulsion. A garden sprayer is suitable for this. The spraying is continued until the whole surface has been covered. The quantity required is 0.2 to 0.3 litres per square metre. On horizontal surfaces, larger amounts of the material can be applied at a time. In all circumstances, it is important that the material be worked well in under the reinforcing net. To ensure a wear lining of even thickness and to facilitate its application, steel guide rails with the precise thickness of the intended layer of Densit can be mounted. These may later be removed. Here they've been allowed to remain in place, as they also function as stiffening rings. Exposed edges of the Densit material should always be protected by permanent steel edge runners. With temporary halts in the work, a sharp edge must be left down to the reinforcing net in order to ensure a wear lining which is free of joints. The rules to be followed are: 1. That the reinforcing net is correctly mounted. 2. That the water is always used in the prescribed quantities and that the mixing is done with an effective paddle mixer. 3. That the material is worked well in under the reinforcing net. 4. That ends scarf joints have a sharp edge.
A Densit wear spray lining is the perfect tool in the ongoing battle for continuous improvement and constant minimization of operating costs.